Batgirl issue 1, which is written by Hope Larson and art by Raphael Albuquerque. So we were looking forward to this.
Yep.
It's safe to
Definitely.
say. I liked it a lot. I think one of my concerns get into this. Now, I had no preconception of Hope Larson. I've never.
I read what was the thing? Started a couple of months ago. Got Goldie Vance, something like that.
It left an impression on you because you.
I read
Yeah,
the first issue, and it was pretty good, but I just didn't get around to going back to the next one yet.
Okay.
But it was pretty good.
I mean, it's fair enough that me and Matt don't know what it is because we never read it, but.
Yeah, I remember talking about her when we did our Rebirth, the first episode, or episode 0, whatever it was.
Yeah, the
You know?
WonderCon, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I remember she does, like, super independent, not super independent, but really independent stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's what this
it's
was.
good they've brought her into the fold to write superheroes.
Yeah, so I had no idea sort of what to expect from her. Obviously, Albuquerque, read a lot of American Vampire and various other things.
It's good to have an Albuquerque Batgirl cover that doesn't cause a stir. So that
That's
much.
the point.
Let's not get into that controversy.
Oh
shall
no,
we?
I'm just saying
Yeah.
it was. I had friends that said they would never read Albuquerque again because of that thing, and I'm just
Well,
glad that he's on a full time book.
well, those people are missing out on some fantastic
That's
storytelling. So
exactly because the art in this book. Not trying to dive ahead too far, but the art was strong.
Yeah, no, the art's great. It's incredibly consistent. Everything sort of pops. I don't think like Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, almost the entire issue is either smiling or smirking or, and I enjoyed Batgirl and the Birds of Prey last week. I really did. The art was a big issue, obviously. The art's the thing that jumps up dramatically here, but like in that issue, I had a constant problem with the mouths looking weird. Like that was my main
Yeah,
hang up. And then this week, Albuquerque, like constantly, the mouth was on point. Normally, I don't pay that much attention, but because last week the mouth in the previous Batgirl book was kind of weird, this week I was like, this is some quality mouth work right here. There's smirking, there's smiling, there's all sorts. So there's pondering. I'm looking at a pondering page right now. She's pondering. She's like, what shall I have for dinner? That's not exactly what she's saying, although she does want food in about a minute after that. But
yeah,
so I'm praising the mouth work.
I mean,
yeah.
it's the small subtleties that make it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It does, and Albuquerque nails expressions,
Yeah,
and that's what I've learned from reading his other works. Is always reading American Vampire. Him and Snyder would work together, and you would know exactly what those characters were thinking, even without the dialogue or anything.
I'm looking at the page right now where her stomach rumbles. Which, by the way, I
Yep.
love that Batgirl gets hungry and wants to chow down.
Yep. Although
Nothing's.
her choice in food in this issue is a bit questionable
Oh
for
well,
me.
yeah, she's
really.
yeah.
Well,
Oh
I'm not a sushi guy, or I mean,
You're not down for some octopus?
nah,
God no.
nah.
So I've never had octopus, but squid's pretty damn good. So I mean,
Yeah, but everyone who loves
Can it
squid
be?
always says why they like calamari, and of course it tastes good. It's fried.
oh no, I mean like squid chunks, like in like paella and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, you're never getting me to try squid either. So
oh, squid's damn good.
no, I am not approving of her choice, but nothing's more
So
endearing than a girl who wants to chow down. So but no, art's very good. I think the tone's great. I think one of the obviously the thing we didn't like. Well, at least me and Matt didn't like. You were into a little bit more of it, Connor. I think, but what we didn't like about the last Batgirl sort of run, the whole Burnside thing, was they made her too juvenile sounding. I think,
Yeah, they
yeah,
did.
as well as
a
all
little
the
too hip.
and a little too you hit with the text stuff like QR codes, constant uh, face page or whatever they were calling their Facebook and Blitter or whatever they were calling Twitter. Like they had their fake versions of everything that they were constantly dropping.
They had their Instagram that was very, very featured.
Yeah, well, all that's happily gone. I mean, I'm not saying she never uses her phone. I mean, she should. She's a tech wizard. She's she's Oracle. She's
Well, yeah, she has a company now. It's what is it, Gordon Clean Energy or something?
yeah,
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird, having not kept up to date with what was going on. But she should still keep tech
yeah.
relevant. But I
Well,
do like that they're not using it as a crutch, how it seemed last time.
no, I think like the whole thing with her having her own company makes complete sense to me. Like Not in the sense that she's away and running it, but the idea that she's smart enough that she can just set up a company on the internet
Yeah.
and like have it going. Like that ties into what Oracle could do and always has been able to kind of do. So that's all fine for me. As for the plot, so she's in Japan in this issue. She's going to be traveling around Asia as a whole through this arc, it seems, and she runs into an old childhood friend that she's not seen in a few years called Kai.
Yep.
And
from her days in Chicago.
Yeah, and they sort of reminisce a little bit, and Batgirl's in Japan on the first stop on our trip to meet what's the name? Is it Fruit Bat?
Yep, the Fruit Bat.
The Fruit Bat, which quirky, but not too quirky.
No, I love when DC does this. Like when we get the Great 10, the Chinese Justice League. Like I just love seeing different cultures take on superheroes, and this felt very Watchmen-esque in the way that it's just a lady that donned a suit to go fight bad guys.
Yeah.
You know, there's no mystical thing around here. I don't think she had superpowers, you know. So, but like the whole history on her, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's always really fun seeing these because it's like another level of legacy as well.
Yeah. Yep.
And, you know, we're all suckers for legacy in this universe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that Barbara's such a nerd for her was cool.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
'cause that ties into her going beyond Batman. You know, so
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I like that she's like, I used to be in a wheelchair too. I like that line
yeah.
when she brings that up. Cool little moments there. One thing the book does throughout, which is weird, it swaps narration boxes for thought bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think narration boxes are generally better, and that's why everyone uses them now.
Mm-hmm.
But it did give this book a bit of its own flavour, in its own weird way, because it's keeping that whole youthful feeling to it.
Yep.
You know, as strange as it sounds, having a bubbly like sort of thing that the text is in compared to a box just helps it feel youthful.
I think it was okay because it wasn't overdone. There wasn't like a shit ton of thought bubbles. It's when they're like in every other panel that it's really
It's a
distracting.
problem.
Oh yeah, if
I remember.
you go back to like Golden Age and Silver Age, like comics, and try and read those with the thought bubbles and the narration boxes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I remember Jeff Loeb saying, you know, narration boxes are meant to be just that, narration. They're not the actual thoughts going on in a character's head. Whereas that's what a thought bubble is. It's how they're reacting in that moment to whatever's going on. So it's not preconceived. And that's how I always like in this generation of comics and writers, you don't see the thought bubble as much because I do think they rely on the art to show that expression instead of, you know, them just telling us what's going on in their head.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why we don't need as much of that stuff anymore is because the art's better now.
Yeah.
And that's not to insult artists of the past. It's just that
Oh, no.
it's just that it's advanced enough where there is now an art form of showing the expressions and letting the art do a lot of the acting, as opposed
Yeah,
to
most artists are working on one book at a time. Back in this golden silver age, they were pumping them out like a sweatshop.
yeah.
So
And you got to
know,
remember
that-
the printing capabilities were limited as well.
You know, so it is, but like Pete said, it's somehow nostalgic while being modern, which doesn't seem to go, but I guess that's Batgirl as a character,
Yeah.
you know? So,
So plot wise, some random female villain of sorts tries to attack Kai because Kai might not be on the up and up. He might be up to no good, as Batgirl suspects. And she has a bit of a fight with her, puts on the outfit and all that, and really fun fight sequence. I like them chasing her through the parade and all that stuff.
yeah.
And
I really like that in the art, too, is it sees how Barbara's putting it together, how to, you know, she's going to jump here, and then you see that transition.
Yeah.
So you can follow it as you read. I thought that was pretty cool.
I actually really like her. There's a few times throughout this action scene where there's just like a panel of her face thinking. Like there's one where she's thinking her mouse over to the left. Again, excellent mouth work. And on the next page when she sees Fruit Bat like fight this random villain, like her face of like shock and surprise and like, you know, amazement is just great. It's like it's really fun to look at because it's like she's excited, so you get excited with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like how after, when she's looking back on what Fruit Bat did, and like it's like using her memory, and it's kind of like faded a little bit. Like the image is like kind of set into the page almost. I really like that touch, just to differentiate it as to this isn't happening now.
Yeah, Fruit Bat does her whole or Morpheus moment where she's like, "Oh, I knew where it was going. I didn't."
Yeah.
That sort of like mentor, role that you get in movies and stuff. But no, that's fun, and that's just what plants the idea in her head to go train and all that. And we see her past the poster for the MMA tournament or school or whatever it is. But no,
I think is really, just not to jump ahead too far, but there's a really interesting parallel between this and Nightwing. With the whole, the mentor stuff. So I think it's interesting for Batgirl and Nightwing to be the ones that parallel that nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll be getting to Nightwing in a bit. But no, I really like this. And of course, that's basically the end. We see that she's going to be going to Singapore to go to this MMA thing, and she's invited Kai to come along with her so she can keep an eye on him. But no, I thought it was a lot of fun. Like, I was sort of smiling kind of the whole time. Barbara's voice seems to be... it's not quite the same as what it was before the Burnside stuff. It's definitely keeping a sort of useful spin on it, but it's a useful spin that doesn't take away from what her character is at the same time. Yeah,
when I first started reading it, I thought I was going to get annoyed by it, just because it seems like it's too snappy. But it was fine as it went on. You get used to it. It's just a different
I get the
voice
first few
than I'm used
pages
to.
or so. It's like it's a little bit to get into, isn't it?
Yep. So, but it all comes together again with the art. I can't praise Albuquerque enough, and Larson works very well. And then you just blend into it, and you don't even notice it at the end. So, I'm really looking forward to see where this goes. I mean, I was already down to see her do a tour of Asia, but now if it looks like we're getting an issue or two, so this time she was in Okinawa, next she'll be in Singapore, as she makes her way. I think that can make for some real cool they're not one-offs because there's going to be an arc, but I feel like they can be. Each issue can have a different flavor.
It's just a shame it's monthly, isn't it?
Yeah, I know, I was just going to say that. It's kind of upsetting.
I'm torn. It's like, it's such a long wait. But then Albuquerque.
It couldn't be Albuquerque on every issue if it was twice a month. So I'll be interested to see what happens when we get to the second arc. Like, is it the Asia thing, like just the first arc, and then the second arc will be back in Gotham doing stuff?
I think it has to be because Birds of Prey said that this was after that first arc, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. But I mean, that could still be 3 arcs if they wanted it to be. They could say this lasted a while.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it was implied in Birds of Prey that this was after her trip to Asia. So we know that she does survive it and comes out different.
It wasn't even applied. It was flat out said. She said that she'd just get back from her trip. So, but no, that's Batgirl issue 1. Really good, really pretty, really fun. So